All right. So today I was doing a lot of hip joint playing, and then last week there was all this diagonal stuff, and one of the things that we're really used to thinking about with bones, right? This is a femur, this is a pelvis, right? And there's a ball and a socket joint, and lo and behold, that allows this huge amount of movement. Yeah, I need to close this because it will keep moving. Your diaphragm is also shaped like a dome, right? And underneath it, there's two. It's actually, like if you look at the diaphragm from below, it looks like the inside of a dome, right? And so what are the round surfaces that it's sitting on? Well, on the right side, there's a liver. And on the left side is what's on the left side? Anybody know?
Stomach.
Stomach. Can you feel it? And the stomach goes from, it's like rounded shape. And so most of the stomach is actually underneath the ribs, but you can kind of feel it curve over, and the liver comes across a little bit in the front. So there's definitely an overlap. The other thing that's over there on the side on the left is the spleen. It's a little bit further to the back. So we don't. The Frankel method has just gone into organ work for me in level 3, and it's been really fascinating because I'm really used to thinking about movement in terms of bones and muscles and joints and limbs. And when you move around, and especially we've been doing this kind of diagonal stuff, there's a lot of movement in the organs, and they are kind of like, they're not as shaped as bones are, so they can kind of squish around. But if you feel them, and you were just, Joe, talking about the diaphragm release. For me, if I kind of imagine the organs underneath the diaphragm, all of a sudden there's so much more space. There's like a little bit of resistance to breathing, but because there's resistance, there's like leverage, right? So let's just touch around the bottom of the ribs. Right, so there's the sternum comes down, there's a little pointy bit there, and then you go down to the ribs. You go down the side, and you're like, wow, how low do these ribs go? How low are my ribs? Like wowzers, right? And then in the back goes up a little bit, feeling. So there's an angle there. And so that's like the circumference of the diaphragm. I'm going to get a picture. But the height of the diaphragm, I don't even have to take it out of my book because it's my first one. The height of the diaphragm is way up, right? It's way up inside. It's like fifth rib. Fifth rib is like the height of your nipples, approximately. Yeah. So touch again the bottom and go up to kind of nipple height, and then down in the back. Just kind of feel that real estate in your body, right? That big area in the middle of the body, the Saskatchewan of the body. I usually call it the Hyde Park, but just for you, it became so. Yeah, so it's like, it's really huge. It's really expansive. Yeah, like I imagine Saskatchewan is. I don't know much about it.
It is.
Yeah. So when you go to your liver, so go to your right side, and when you touch the side of your ribs at the bottom here, you're touching on the outside is rib, right? And then underneath that is the internal fascia, right? And there's a little kind of pocket in the fascia where the lung can slide into, like that. It's like a hand sliding into a glove. And then underneath that is your liver. And your liver's pretty dense, but it's held up by a negative pressure and by all sorts of things. So keep your hands here and take a couple of breaths. So the first thing, of course, to remember is that when you breathe in, your diaphragm moves down. So from nipple height, it's going to move down in the center. And it's going to push a little bit down on your liver on this side. And because of that pushing down on the liver, it's going to give a little bit of lift to the ribs. Just take a couple more breaths like that. Now just take a few kind of side bends towards the right, little circle forward, little circle to the left, and little extension. And imagine you're kind of sliding your diaphragm, this rounded shape of diaphragm, around on your liver. And the first thing just to imagine is that's all very slippery and slidey. And it's very smooth and soft. And you can change directions. At any point, you can also go side to side or front to back a few times or diagonal. And the feeling of like a ball and a socket joint. And then let's touch on the outside of the body. So let's touch this side of your ribs, going from about the same place, this about the 5th rib, and draw kind of down towards your belly button a few times. So this time we're going to move on the outside of the body. So touching that side of the ribs, touching the midline of your belly, and then just step over. Again, it's going to be kind of underneath your nipple. There's a little gap. Yeah, and then twist the rib towards that point. So on my stomach, on my abdomen, you can kind of see the gap is kind of, there's the midline. You know, I don't have like any kind of six pack, but there's like a little groove underneath. Yeah, and so that's where I'm touching and kind of sliding the rib towards that groove and then sliding up and away. So just playing with that movement on the outside of the body. And then you can keep that awareness on the outside and inside of the body, sliding and curling the ribs over diaphragm, opening the ribs away, diaphragm over liver, sliding around. And you don't have to have like a perfect visualization or even a perfect touching place to get a lot of interesting movement going. And take your hands away and just notice for a second what's changed on that side. Take a breath. Let's reach the right arm up. And just give a little brush down your arm towards your collarbone, and then down towards your sternum, and then down to your belly. Yeah, and then breathe in and lift up from the outside here. So breath in, you create length through your arm. Breath out, like you're pulling something down a little bit and bending a little bit to the side. Breath in, reach up, push up, stretch up. You can do a little bit of a side bend. Exhale, pull something down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull, and are you sliding the ribs over, sliding diaphragm over liver towards the side. One more time, pull down. Inhale, reach up. And I'll take a little side bend to the opposite side. So you can kind of push the wall away. Use your left hand on the floor if you like. Reach away, reach away. Breath in and breath out, and then just go very slowly, bringing the arm in front of face, and just pay attention to all the little micro shifts. You can make this very smooth. When you found lots of interesting places, you can curl towards the midline and then reach the right arm over and do the same thing again 2 or 3 times, depending on your speed. So you lift, you side bend, opening up that whole side, sliding the diaphragm up off the liver, and then curl around, kind of polishing the round surface of the organs with the diaphragm. And arm reaches up, and side bend, and around, around, around. Let's leave the arm in the center and roll up to sitting. And again, just take a moment and pause. Notice the difference in your 2 sides. You can support the weight of your arms with your legs. Breath in and breath out. Let's go over to the left side and just touch around the left ribs. Yeah, so the top of the stomach is around the 7th rib, so you kind of approximated where the 5th rib, we go a little bit below that 7th rib. And then it curls around and comes towards the midline of the body. And, you know, depending on what's going on in your stomach right now, you might be able to feel it. Either a little bit full. And the stomach is a little less dense than the liver, but it's still rounded. And so let's do again this little sliding around, this circular movement. Around, around, around. Around, around. Sliding the diaphragm, the dome of the diaphragm over the stomach and the spleen. Imagining them slippery and slidey. You can change directions when you need to. Just notice if this side feels easier or harder than the other side, smoother, less smooth, and try to keep cultivating the quality of smoothness. And come back to the center. So breath in, diaphragm moves down. It presses a little into stomach, and that gives a little lift to the side of your ribs, and then the ribs come down. And the pressure of the diaphragm comes off. So just keep feeling that. Diaphragm goes down. Ribs widen, and then ribs go down. Diaphragm goes up, and last time diaphragm goes down. Let's go to the side of your rib cage and just touch there. And then midline, if you lean a little bit back, it'll be a little firmer. So you get the midline, and then there's like a little pocket, and then there's another kind of sort of midline gap thing where there's less muscle. So we're touching those 2 points and sliding those 2 points together, kind of twisting to the right and curling a little bit, and then opening to the left, leaning back, stretching, and we're on the surface of the body, sliding together, sliding apart, sliding together, sliding apart, slide together, slide apart, last time, slide together, and back up to the center, release your arm down, notice what's different, has anything changed, and then left arm reaches up, touching the side of the body, So on inhale, diaphragm moves down, ribs widen. Kind of puff out and then pull something down. The elbow pulls a little bit in towards the waist. You kind of imagine an accordion, like your ribs are an accordion. And then slide up, reach up and slide down. Accordioning in, again up. And slide down and sliding the diaphragm over the belly last time. This time reach up and then side bend a little bit to the opposite side, really opening up the rib cage as much as you can. And then curl, head goes forward. Just have a little play, find your own stretches in this moment. And then curl down, nose towards belly button. Find the fold, coming all the way up. Let's reach the arm up overhead. And again, 2 more times, side bend. Curling, curling, slowly, slowly forward. Circling out to the side. When you're ready, take your sweet time. The arm reaches up. And we go last time. So just like there's the ball and socket of your hip joint, the ball is the liver and the stomach, the socket is the diaphragm. And up we come to the center and notice what's changed. Breath in and breath out. So just for an experiment, imagine breathing in and just feeling a little bit of resistance from your organs below the diaphragm. So feel what happens. And then on your next breath, do the opposite imagination. So imagine there's nothing really underneath your diaphragm. It's just really loose. Is there a difference in the quality of your breathing? Yeah, so let's go back to feeling the organs underneath. Okay, cool. So if you're sitting on a prop, let's take it out of the way. And let's just rock back on your hands and rock the legs side to side, nice and slow. And so there's a moment where your legs move, and then there's a moment where the leg kind of pulls the pelvis. And it might feel like actually a bit of a stretch. Don't push too hard into the stretch, and then roll back to the center and to the other side. So there's a little bit of a pull. And then one of the interesting moments is, how do you get back to the center? So what happens in your body when the weight of your legs is over to the side and you have to kind of guide them back to the center? Just kind of feel that action. And you can align your breathing in some way if you like. And so now as we go, rather than taking both legs, we'll do like a open the book, close the book. This is Amber's favorite exercise. Open the book, close the book. Open the book, close the book. And can you sense now in your hip joints the same kind of rounded, smooth surface? So open the book, this time close the book, and then pick up your whatever hand can come up the floor easily, and kind of twist a little bit to the side, and then drop back, 2 hands, roll, open the book, close the book, one hand comes off. Let's trace it around through space so it does like a bit of a twist. And then it uncircles, it goes behind you, you roll back through the center. So kind of side to side with a little swing. And of course, we have the hip joint movement. We have the waist movement, then we have the ribs sliding, arms circling. Hip joints, waist, ribs. Center, hip joints, waist, ribs, arms. And just keep going with that a few more times. And you can even go a little bit kind of faster and swingier. So the next time that you have your right leg kind of in front of you, your right hand on the floor, let's just pause there and extend your left leg. So you're kind of in like a half pigeon, and then roll so that you're sitting on your two sitting bones. This is one of my movements I'm really enjoying right now. So lean on your right hand, let the hip come up, kind of ride up, and then the toe pulls away. It pulls the hip away from the waist, right toe, away from the waist, and then the rib comes and you come back up. And again, lean, drag the leg, then leg pulls hip, hip pulls waist, waist pulls body back to center. One more time, right hand on the floor, slide, drag the leg. It doesn't matter, it might roll in a little bit, and then it rolls away, rolls away, rolls away. You come up to two sitting bones. Let's put the right hand on the floor, bring the left knee back towards the center, and switch sides. So open the book, close the book, the leg reaches away, and then just slide it out. It might need to come in front of you. And here we go. Lean and roll, and then a hip, waist, ribs. Left hand on the floor. Drag the leg is super heavy, but then the leg leads the hip leads the waist, the organs drop down, and then the ribs slide over. Again, hand, hip, lean, drag, now toe, waist, hip, waist, organs, liver comes over your hip joint and back to the center. Let's come back onto the left hand. Right leg bends. Open the book. Hair in my mouth. Close the book. Left leg reaches out and then roll it. So just play with that movement even. Rolling it back. Rolling in and rolling back. And try to get it as smooth. It's maybe a little bit circular. Yeah, your hip joint is a ball and socket. Back to the center. So your right leg is bent, left leg is extended, two sitting bones on the floor, legs organized to facilitate that. Right hand on the floor. Same feeling, we're going to lean onto the right arm, but this time left arm, sweep it up through space, push the floor away and come into this big arc, and then just have a little play here. It's really easy to get into like yoga shape mode, right? Where you're like, okay, this is the pose and hold it, but like just get into the space, the stretch, the ribs and diaphragm sliding around almost under the liver and the right side, and then curl through space. Ease yourself back down. As you ease yourself back down, pull back to the center. Spine is like a piece of seaweed. Let's lift the right arm high. Breath in, reach the right side long. Breath out, side bend to the left. Now, let's just check with the neck. So weight is on your left hand for support. Shoulder maybe dropped. Take your gaze down. Take your ear to the shoulder, maybe shake your head no. Very gently, neck is free. And then curl around through space. Curl around through space. Here we go again. Right hand on the floor. So it's not a yoga shape. It's an exploration. You come up. And like, what's interesting in your body about this? Is it the back bend? Is it the twist? Is it the side bend? Maybe you can feel a little lengthening of some muscle tissue, some stretching of organ tissue. Breath in, breath out. Curl down, curl down, curl down. Slide down. Find yourself in the center. Left hand, left leg, or the floor, right arm reaches up. Breathe. Breath out. Breath in, side body, long, long, long. Right arm overhead. How far does the body want to let you go? And then curl through space. Curl through space. Curl through space. Again, right hand on the floor. Last time. What's interesting in here for you? Where's the stretch? Where's the length? Where's the spiral? Breath in and then breath out. Curling, curling. Down, down, down. Nice and slow. Super smooth. Find yourself in the center. Let both sitting bones land on the floor. Right arm reaches up. As you breathe in, whole side of the body lengthens. Diaphragm presses into liver. Breath out. Now, breath in for length. Breath out, side bend. Just feel how far. What is your body allowing? What is your mind pushing? What is your mind discovering? And now curl through space, curl through space, curl through space. And come up to the center. Take a moment and pause. Sit a little bit to the right side. Swing your left leg around and bring it to a half seated spinal twist. So left sitting bone, slide it down. And again, that might be a kind of movement that's interesting, right? Hip moves away from waist, rib opens up. So you can do it once or twice. If your leg doesn't like that position, it might like this position better. It might like this position better. Yeah. Once you found yourself kind of in the middle, left arm comes up just above your eye line. And then twist towards the left, let the arms slope down as you go. Again, come up to the center, the hand just above your eye line. Here's your length and then sweep into the twist. Last time, inhale. Exhale, sweep into the twist. Now your left hand can go anywhere it wants to go. Your right arm can also go anywhere it wants to go. And let's breathe in and imagine the back of your right ribs. Kind of like a doorway opening or a revolving door opening the back of your right ribs. And the diaphragm is kind of sliding over the liver. The ribs are rotating around the organ. Last breath, inhale. Exhale, untwist. Let's put both hands, I'm going to just swivel myself a little bit, stay where you are. Both hands on the floor. Weight goes onto your left foot and kind of swizzle yourself into a kind of wide leg forward fold with bent knees and then wave side to side like you're painting the floor. And you can go as wide as you like. You can play with the hip joints. You might feel some extension of the muscles of the inner thighs. So weight transfer over to the right foot. Bend your left knee, tuck it underneath your right. And then swing your right leg out to the side. You can swivel yourself around or find your mat. And here we go on the other side. Are we there? Yeah. My practice has gone completely circular. I've given up on a mat and then I never know where I am. So left hand on the floor. Right arm circles through space. Don't get into yoga pose mode. Get into, it's the first thing in the morning. I'm moving my body. What feels good here? What feels interesting? And then breath. And then slide down, 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 down we go. Find yourself on 2 sitting bones. Right hand on leg, left arm overhead. So breath in, diaphragm moves down. Ribs widen and lift. It gives lift to your arm and then soften down. Now again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, side bend. You can lean on the right arm, let the shoulder relax, and then release the head. You can look down, look straight, super soft neck. Even check in with your tongue. Is your tongue relaxed? Breath in, breath out. The arm circles around. Left hand to the floor. Right arm circles. Again, check in. Is your tongue relaxed? How's the feeling of your hand pushing into the floor? How's your ribs? How's the front of your right groin? Inhale. Exhale, curl down, slide. Once again, left arm reaches up. There's a stomach, there's a diaphragm, there's your ribs. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in, side bend. Accordion. Left ribs opening. How far? How much space? Inhale. Exhale, curl, curl, curl. Last time, hand to the floor. Sweep through space. Huge stretch. Check in with your neck. Inhale, exhale, down we go. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Left arm reaches up. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, side bend. Left hand is circled around. Right leg comes across. Just have a little play with this movement, getting your right hip down on the floor, slide it away. You know, I always love to just touch and feel like, oh, is it really like opening? If it's comfortable to stay there, you can. You can also put your foot there or straighten out the leg. There. Yeah, right hand at your eye line, left hand holding right leg, and sweep down. Once again, this is a place to kind of, the movement habit, what is that called? Muscle memory might take you into kind of robot yoga pose mode. Oh yeah, I have to twist a certain amount. Let's let go of that completely. So hand at the eye line, sweep down. Close your eyes even if you like. Just feel the ribs revolving around, then land your right hand on the floor. The left hand, find a comfortable place. Back of your left ribs, they widen. You might even have a feeling of like the right ribs almost folding like a book, closing. Left ribs opening. Untwist, come back to the center. Both hands go across your left thigh. You stand on your right, and then the left leg steps to wide legs. Not super wide. Wave side to side, paint the floor. So I'm having this weird image that there's like some kind of sticky toffee on the floor, and like I try to pull one hand out of it and then put it back down, and then the other one, kind of lifting up feeling with the ribs spiraling. And then let's walk your hands over towards your left leg. Bend the right. Come down to sitting. Swizzle around as much as you need to. And let's just do open the book. Close the book. Open the book. Close the book. Arm. Swings. Open the book. Close the book. Arm. Around. Again. Open. Close, arm, breath, open, close, arm, breath. This time just open, land on your 2 feet. Yeah, and to use your hands, press your feet into the floor and then lift up your hips. You don't have to go super high. Inhale, exhale, pull the hips back towards your thumbs. And kind of hover. And then again, swing up and slowly, slowly, slowly hover. Don't quite sit. Again, inhale up. Exhale slowly. Hovering. Last time, inhale up. This time you can come down to sitting. Land quietly. Right leg opens. Left leg slides away. Yeah. Let's put the right elbow on the floor this time. Left hip will come up a little bit. Yeah. Left arm sweeps through space. And then just pause here. So this right elbow on the floor, find a place where it's interesting. So it might be that it's straight from your shoulder. It might be that it's a little bit behind. Sorry, straight from your hip. It might be that it's a little bit behind. Yeah, the arm comes overhead. Let's bend the arm. Let the weight of the arm hang. And then side bend and feel the side ribs opening up. Back leg doesn't have to be in any kind of extreme, and neither does neck. Inhale, exhale, the elbow circles down. Let's put both hands on the floor. And then step the right leg back to join the left into plank. Bend and lower both knees to the floor. So again, it's toffee on the floor. You peel your right arm up. Stretching up through space and then pushing something down. Push down, push down, push down. Left arm pulling up. The floor is sticky. And then push down. Again, right arm reaches up. Push down, push down, push down. Other hand. Left arm reaches up. Push down, push down, push down. Both hands even on the floor. Head comes forward, sink your chest, sink your chin. Take a moment and pause if you can. Your bum is up in the air and it's kind of pulling a little bit up. Inhale, exhale, slide all the way down. Let's take a moment, just rock side to side. And let's do a little bit of a more dramatic rock than maybe we're used to. So your head can be however it's comfortable. Rock your hips to the right and let your left leg just bend up a little bit in towards you. And then reach the leg away. Rock the pelvis the other way. This doesn't have to be a big movement. Rock the pelvis, move the leg like you're some kind of lizard. And then if you're looking to one direction, switch your head to the opposite direction. Keep going. As you move side to side, it's the last set. As we move side to side, there's a kind of feeling of mobilizing the lower spine really softly. And then come back to the center, land. Take a breath in and breath out. Just settle for a moment. Now, let's let the head come up. Your hands can come a little out to the side. You're just hovering in space, a sense of breath. You might be able to feel the diaphragm kind of pushing into the organs kind of pushing into the floor. And then let's use the hands this time and kind of free the ribs. Lift the ribs, make space, and again, a couple of breaths. And feel how this is different. The relationship to the organs, the relationship to gravity, maybe the fullness of your breath. Inhale. Exhale, slowly, slowly lower down. Turn your head to your unusual side. Just take a moment. Once again, the head comes up and just hovers. Breath in. Breath out. Can you feel the pressure into the floor? The kind of resistance offered by the floor. And that might make you kind of lift up a little bit. On inhale and lower a little bit on exhale. Just feel that. Feel that kind of leverage that the breath provides. Last time, breath in. Breath out. Now use the hands, press down. Lift up the chest. Let's bring the elbows underneath the shoulders to Sphinx. Yeah. Ribs are free. Breath in. Breath out. Look back over your right shoulder. See your right foot and move your right ribs down. And then switch. So kind of playing side to side. Looking back. Looking back. And come back to the center, take inhale, exhale, slowly lower down. Just have another moment. Your head can be turned to one side or on chin on hands or forehead on hands.
And let's move the hands out of the way. Bend your left leg, put it kind of behind your right like a number 4. And then push the floor away and kind of roll so you're sitting. How do we do? Let's do open the book, close the book again. You might have to organize your body in space. And so it's going to be leaning over to the left side. Right leg reaches out. Coming onto the left elbow. You can have the elbow in line with the hip or a little bit behind it. And then right arm reaches overhead and a kind of side bend. So it doesn't have to be like a huge stretch. It's just this weird position, and this position creates openness. It also creates support. It also might create a relationship between your arm, your shoulder, and gravity. Inhale, exhale, circle around. Right hand to the floor. Right foot to the floor. Left leg steps back to join the right. And lower both knees. Right hand pulling up through space like you're stretching something away from the floor. And then this time push something down. Push something down. Push something down, but take the right hand all the way to the left wrist and give a little bit of a pull. So your right hand is holding your left wrist and you're kind of pulling through the back, your spine moving away from both. Release that stretch, take your right arm up again. Open, 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 open. And this time the right hand threads all the way under. Right cheek comes towards the floor. It might touch, it might not. If it touches, you might want to move your left hand away and kind of push into the floor. And then the left hand pushes down. Right arm rises through space, pulling up sticky, sticky toffee. And then right hand lowers. Take a moment and pause on 2 hands, 2 legs. Left hand, it rises, pulling away from the floor. And now pushes down, pushes down, pushes down. And as you get there, you find your wrist. You pull the wrist and you send your spine up towards the ceiling. It's the upper back. And then release once again, arm reaches up, reaches up, reaches up. This time you thread it underneath, left cheek, it might touch the floor. If the cheek reaches the floor, you might have your right hand move a little bit away and push. And then release, right hand pushes the floor away, left arm reaches high, reaches high, reaches high. Inhale. Exhale, hand comes down. Chest comes forward. Chest lowers. Absorb the floor through your arms. Pelvis pulls up. And slide back down onto your belly. So let's turn your head to your more comfortable side. Just let your arms lay on the floor. So my more comfortable side is looking to the left. And if I'm looking to the left, I'm going to roll the pelvis to the right. So if you're looking to the right, you're going to roll the pelvis to the left. So the pelvis moves away from the direction that you're looking, and the leg that's the side of your the side that you're looking towards bends a little bit up, and then you roll back to the center and the leg comes back down. So just do that a few more times. You roll the pelvis, the leg bends, and then you roll back and you land. And last time, roll, leg bends, and roll back and land. And just take a moment and pause. Feel the difference in your two sides. So we're going to switch the head to the opposite side, but this movement is really soft. So the head lifts really effortlessly. It lifts up, maybe you free the ribs a little bit, and then the head to the opposite side. So about 4 times. Pelvis rolls, knee bends. There's a little curling feeling and a little extending feeling. Curling and extending. Curling and extending. Last time. Curling and extending. Land in the center. Take a moment. Once again, float up, lift the head. Organize the chest however you need to, and lower the head to your more comfortable side. So it's the same movement again. We'll do again 4 times. This time as you kind of roll to one side and one leg bends, you might feel the opposite arm kind of straighten. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. It might even just be a really small movement. Yeah, I've got this horrific carpet under me. I'm gonna get carpet burns, but go ahead and have a little play. So it's the same movement. Bend, but then the opposite arm, it can kind of just slide in front of you, and then everything slides back to the center and you land. Let's take a breath in between and go again. Roll, leg bends, side closes, the other side opens, the hand reaches even just like a fraction, and then you roll back, you land. When you land there, settle. Again, leg, pelvis, arm, side bend. Maybe it's a little bit bigger, but it's still super smooth. And back to the center. And last time, breath in and roll. And then back to the center. And as you come back to the center, have a little rock side to side of your pelvis so that your legs feel even on the floor. You're going to need to release the upper body. So hands can press down a little bit, or they don't have to. Upper body lifts up, free the ribs, have a little wiggle side to side. And then on breath out, settle with your head facing the opposite direction. It's the same movement, opposite side. The sides might feel a little bit different from each other, but here we go. Pelvis rolls, knee bends, other arm, it kind of reaches a little bit away. It doesn't have to be a big reach. And then back to the center, land and settle. Breath in, breath out, pelvis, leg, elbow, reach. Back to the center, settle, release. breath. Roll, knee, elbow, arm, and then back to the center. Settle. Last time. Roll, bend, reach, slide smoothly, smoothly, and back to the center. And then rock the pelvis so the legs organize. Use your hands, release the ribs. The upper body gets organized. And then you land softly in the middle. Let's play with Cobra. 1 breath or 2 breath pattern. So the 2 breath pattern is you inhale coming up. Exhale, stay up. Inhale, little lift. And exhale, soften. Try to make it as smooth as possible, as effortless as possible. And you might feel, as you breathe in, that your organs are squishing down. They're being squished a little bit into the floor. When you breathe out, the pressure comes off. When you breathe in, there's more. And breath out, soften. 1 more set. Breath in, rise. Breath out, stay. Breath in, rise. Breath out, soften. So here's the fun piece. Left leg bends. Left leg crosses like a number 4. Hands move down flat on the floor, and then you roll and you come up to sitting. Let's put the right hand on the floor, roll, and come to kneeling. Take a moment and pause, your hands on your legs. Take a moment and breathe. Let's take the left hand behind you, land it on the floor. Right arm, just have a little play with it in space. So it's reaching and moving the ribs away. You'll feel there's a little side bend, there's also a little back bend happening. And then take your hand behind your head and try to find a comfortable way of holding your head. So I like my elbow really close to my ear. Yeah, and then circle the head, lean the head back. Let the head rest in the hand. And can you imagine kind of sliding the diaphragm away from the liver on the right side, giving the liver like loads of lift and loads of space. Now, exhale, bring the elbow down towards the left side. Let the ribs come down towards the midline and then come up to the center. Release your hand down onto your lap and just notice for a moment. Right hand on the floor. Lean on it. It's a little bit of side bend, a little bit of back bend. Take your left arm over and try to find a comfortable place. So again, I like mine really close, but some people like theirs more out to the side. To hold the head and really support the head. And now you're lifting the rib away from the stomach. You're kind of giving the stomach a bit of a stretch. Inhale. Exhale, the elbow turns towards the right side. Kind of curl through the spine. elbow towards the belly, both hands on your legs and come up. If you're not comfortable sitting this way, then just shift to one side. Take a moment and notice. Let's take the, I'm just scooting myself a little bit back to have more space. So you're going to come to lay down again on the floor. You might need to make space for your own body. So hands come down. And then it's like there's a marble on the floor. You're pushing the marble out of the way with your nose. And find your way all the way back down on your belly. Let's come up onto the elbows. Just have a little wave side to side with your ribs, with your shoulders. And then come to the center. Let's push the elbows down into the floor. Lift your sternum in front of you. And just take your gaze a little bit higher than the horizon, just a little bit. Take a breath in and kind of feel the diaphragm lifting away from the, pressing down into the organs. Opening the ribs and then breath out. Everything kind of closes in a little bit. Again, breath in, diaphragm presses down. The front chest kind of rises up. Breath out. Very easy in the upper spine, so you're not forcing a back bend at all. And then release the torso down, turn your head to one side. Just take a little moment and rest. Once again, peel the body up, elbows to the floor. A little downward pressure through your elbows. Breath in. Something presses down, something goes wide. Something lifts up. Breath out, something moves down. Pressure comes off. Less support. More ease maybe, more freedom, but less support. Again, breath in. More tone. Just get really curious. I'm just kind of saying the words that I'm feeling in my body. So get really curious about the two phases of your breathing. And now breath in one more time. And as you come down, turn your head to the unusual way. Hands, they slide down next to your ribs. Let's pick up the right leg. Bend the right leg like number 4. And then right hand pushes the floor. You roll and you come up to sitting. Left leg is straight. Left hand is on the floor. Let's do this wild thing type movement. So pelvis lifts up, reaches through space, and have a little play here with the sense of opening the whole right side. Yeah, don't get into yoga pose mode. So pulsate with it, reach with it. And if it's too intense, do less. Inhale, exhale, elbow to belly. Slowly, slowly, body goes down. Both hands come back to the floor and you roll back onto your belly. So interesting. Like sometimes that pose can feel like a very expressive something. That time that pose felt like really hard. Yeah, so just exploring where your own body is. Left leg bends, hands come back next to your shoulders. Push the floor away, roll up. So don't make it about the pose. Make it about space. Maybe you don't even lift the pelvis off the floor, you just reach the left arm. Maybe you do lift the pelvis. How do you pulsate? How do you find space? What feels good to your own body? Breath in, breath out, elbow to belly, slow motion, lower down, lower down, lower down. Hands to the floor, roll back onto your belly. Settle down, have a little wiggle. Let's do the same thing again. Breath in, breath out, wiggle everything out. Legs, pelvis, spine. Now, right leg it bends. Foot drops behind your left knee. It can go a little out to the side if you need to. Hands come to the floor. Yeah. Right toe reaches back and rolls you up to sitting. Now again, play with a sense of space. Maybe you don't even lift the hips up. Maybe you circle around. You find your own sense of your own body, what feels good to you right now. Inhale, exhale, slow motion, ease down. Hands on the floor, roll back to the center. Give everything a little release. Last time. Left leg bends, it crosses. Hands on the floor next to your shoulders. And then roll towards the right hand, right leg. Push up to sitting. And again, have a little play. Maybe you're just stretching. Maybe you lift the pelvis. Maybe you rise. And then elbow to belly. Ease yourself back down. Let's roll back onto the belly. And give everything a little release. Inhale, torso rises. Exhale, elbows come underneath shoulders, forearms to the floor. Again, breath in. Breath out, look back over your left shoulder. And then over your right. And again, just keep rocking a few times side to side. Pelvis can move. You can kind of play with one leg sliding up a little bit and reaching away. But the whole purpose is just smoothness, softness. And then back to the center. Take breath in and breath out. Landing down on the floor. Use your hands. Push the floor away. Let's come back to hands and knees. And then coming down to either child's pose or some variation, puppy stretch. You can have your elbows on the floor. You can have your forehead on your hands or on your wrist, or like chin on your wrists, or you can come all the way down. Let's let everything soften. Like just melting into a puddle. And then use the support of your hands. Walk yourself up to sitting on your feet. If this isn't comfortable, you can put a bolster somewhere or blocks or sit to the side. Just take a moment with your hands resting on your lap. Sense the breath rising and falling. Just add to the breath a very, very small pulsation. For me, it feels like a little lift, almost like a micro back bend on breath in, and a little softening micro forward bend, micro, like almost invisible. And this pulsation is like a wave, like if you were a piece of seaweed, one of my favorite images, and it's just like a rolling current of water that takes you up and then settles you down. So you have three choices. One choice is to take one hand on the floor and do the same kind of half back bend that I'm really loving at the moment. And you can do that on both sides, and I think all of you've done it enough times to sort of know the drill. Second option is just to stay with this kind of pulsation of the spine, like a little tiny spinal flexion. And the final option, which probably wouldn't be my choice today, but it's feeling like it could be, is to come up to a kind of baby camel. Actually feels great. Which would be rising up on inhale, that same feeling, breath out. And you can use your hands behind your head or on your chest, or both hands behind your head or both hands on your hip. Wherever you want to use them to find lift and find softness. So just take a moment. That'll be about, let's say, 6 to 8 breaths of expanding and softening the front body, either in this kind of camel framework or in the asymmetric framework that we did before, or traveling between them, or even just as a small pulsation. If you can, let your eyes be closed. Meditate in the movement very quietly. Of course, any variations, any little additions or subtractions, are welcome, any pauses. You might just notice how it feels to not be guided, to have to make choices. Can you just let your body tell you something, and can you just be okay with whatever it says? And if the answer is, I don't know, you don't have to do anything. So when you feel you've had enough or you've balanced everything, you can come for a moment and sit on your heels. You can take child's pose, or you can find your way onto your back. They will all eventually make their way onto our back. So you can move there sooner if you like. So let's lay down with the soles of the feet flat on the floor. And take your arms over your head. Let one hand land in the other hand. And let's make the breath really super slow. So these arms overhead give a little space for your ribs to widen. Breath super slow, super quiet. Body as soft as possible. Hands, jaw, throat. Just make a little mental note which hand is atop the other one. Let's take both knees over to your right side. So your left knee is going to end up somewhere sort of near your right foot. This may be comfortable, it may not be comfortable, it may need a little adjustment. And then let's take this, just take a moment there. Imagine the left leg as heavy and kind of long feeling from the belly through the thigh down to the knee. If your knee doesn't like it, then just come back out of it or take a different angle of spinal twist. Just like at the beginning of the class, we have to figure out how to roll back to the center. So it might be on an exhale or an inhale. You might have to lift the leg or roll somehow on the pelvis. Just find yourself back at the center and then switch which hand is on top. Even out anything that might be uneven. Take another slow, slow, slow breath. And then other side. So knees go to the left. Your right knee will be somewhere near your left foot. And if it feels good instantly, that's great. And if it needs a little adjustment, then move it. Kind of long feeling, soft feeling. Once again, to get back to the center, something has to shift, something has to move. How does your body figure it out? Roll back to the center. Take a moment there. To release the hands. Let them stay kind of near your head, but just a little softer. So if your body needs any last little movements or little stretches, go ahead and take them. If your body needs a layer of clothing or you want to turn off your lights, go ahead and do that. If you need a prop, put a prop under your thighs or under your head. And just let everything settle into the floor. Breath in and super, super soft breath out.
Just notice a quieting or quiet in yourself. Softening your skin, eyes, nose, your mouth, your jaw, your throat, soft. You notice where your body is touching the floor. Where you feel that sense of touch, can you drop and yield a little deeper? So let your breath come in super slowly and then soften on the way out. You might experience a moment of pause at the end of your exhale, just like a quiet. Let's breathe in a little more fully with a sense of kind of smelling the air, imagining a rose or the earth or a kind of pine, coffee smell. One that opens you inside, and then on breath out, you just soften. And then again, a breath in like a scent. And breath out, pure softening. So it might feel good to extend the body or reach into space. It might also feel good to just stay super soft. Roll to one side when you're ready. When you're ready, you can come up to sitting if you want to. Your hands can be in the lap or on the legs or on your chest or in prayer. Let's just take a few breaths of quiet. My energy is just telling me not to say anything and to sit quietly, but I think we should close the class. So let a slow breath come in and then like a hum come out, just a really soft sound. Once or twice more. May all beings know peace. May our yoga practice contribute to the well-being of all. Thank you.